Okay. Adequate notice of this meeting was sent by email to the Asbury Park Press and Coast Star, our official newspapers, on October 7, 2020, and notice was posted on the bulletin board of the municipal building and on the borough's website. Take roll call. Mr. Burke?
Here.
Mr. Carvelli?
Here.
Mr. Rizzatello?
Here.
Mr. Forte?
Here.
Mr. Lindsay?
Here.
Mr. McDermott?
Here. Good evening. All right. Good evening and welcome to the October 19th, 2020 meeting of the Borough of Belmar Planning Board. Nothing on the workshop this evening, but we'll move right into minutes from the prior meeting. Can I get a motion to waive the reading and approve the minutes from our September 21st, 2020 meeting?
Motion.
I'll make that motion.
Thank you, Bill and Mr. Rizzatello. Thank you.
Okay, Mr. Burke?
Aye.
Mr. Carvelli?
Try that one more time, Tom. We missed you.
Oh, I think I have to abstain.
Yes.
Okay.
Okay. Mr. Rizzatello?
Yes.
Mr. Forte?
Yes.
Mr. Lindsay?
Yes.
Mr. McDermott?
Yes, thank you. Next on the agenda is ordinance 2020-37, amending chapter 40 relating to the fees. Doug, I don't know if you want to give the board any thoughts or insights on this.
Again, just to make it clear on the record, our role with regard to any development regulation, and even though these are fees, they technically development regulations. In this instance, I think really what we see here is an effort by the town to keep up with current costs. There are two adjustments, if you will, so that if we have an informal concept meeting, the charge for that informal concept meeting is $500. The other additional charge that is being placed in the ordinance is to cover any escrow fees for the informal concept for our professional review. Sometimes we have very, very informal concepts, but sometimes we have something that are fairly involved. And in that instance, there should be sufficient monies to allow for our professionals to review things and provide guidance to us. Periodically, we want to keep track of our costs and make sure that we're not running a deficit and we're actually covering the actual costs. Obviously, anything that's not expended in the informal concept by way of escrow fees is returned to the individual. A lot of times what happens though, if they get the favorable nod, they go forward and they credit those towards the actual application once it's made. So this is a way to keep track. Our role in this instance is to determine whether or not anything within the ordinance is inconsistent with either the master plan or the development regulations. My way of thinking, there's nothing inconsistent there. This is something that's part and parcel, something that's allowed by statute, and something that's part and parcel of our ordinance review. So that basically what we would do at this point in time is if there are no questions or if there are no concerns, you can direct me to prepare a writing to mayor and council to the effect that incorporate any comments you may have, the fact that these appear to be consistent with the development regulations and ordinances. Just by way of a side note, if for some reason we were to find that there was something at odds with the development regulations or the master plan, we would simply bring that to the attention of mayor and council. We don't approve, we don't enact, we don't legislate, if you will. We act as the board's sort of legislative committee in this instance and provide direction to them. If for some reason there was an inconsistency, what I would really do is heighten the vote requirement for mayor and council to enact the ordinance. It wouldn't bar them from putting that into place. I think that covers it, Mr. Chair.
All right, thank you.
And if I could add, if the board has no objections to this ordinance, the mayor and council would be looking to hopefully adopt it at their meeting tomorrow night.
There's not a problem on my end in getting a writing out no matter what we do this evening.
I have no objection, and I can see the need for this, so you don't, I can see the need for it.
Thank you, Mr. Burke. Mr. Mr. Carvelli?
I have
any
no problem
comment?
with it.
No. Mr. Rizzatello, I think you're for it.
I'm for it, yeah, definitely. Yeah, cost of living and everything else, it does show it.
Mr. Carvelli?
Yes, I'm for this.
Okay.
Yeah, I did some asking around as to why, where this came out of, and I guess there's expenses that.
Yes, this is actually something new for Belmar. We didn't have this in place before.
Right, and I guess the way it's working now is that it's actually costing the taxpayers money. The professionals are billing for essentially what is an informal review. So that's my understanding.
And I have one question. Is this the technical review committee, or is that separate and apart from this informal review?
This would be separate. This is more like we get developers that come in and want to present ideas, and sometimes they often involve an engineer or attorney getting involved, even if it's just informal meetings or things like that.
Okay.
And the projects never pan out. They don't get to the planning board, and then we've spent time and money on
Professionals.
on this, and this
Professional
is more like almost like an informal type of thing.
Okay, makes sense.
Yeah.
Mr. Forte?
I'm fine with it. No problem.
Okay. Mr. Lindsay?
Yeah, it's obviously prudent and reasonable. And Tom gets to vote on it tomorrow night. So.
Yeah, right. I also agree. I think this is, to your comment, Doug, I think this is consistent with the development regs and the master plan. So if you could communicate that viewpoint from the planning board to the council and to the mayor and council, I would greatly appreciate it.
Absolutely. We'll take care of that. We'll have that right out to April.
Okay.
Very good.
Any other business? We should open it up to the public, I guess, if anyone's on the line. So if there's anyone on the line, anyone from the public who wants to make a comment about this particular ordinance, please raise your hand to April. She'll bring your name forward. And if you could then state your name and spell it and provide your street address, I would appreciate it.
Nope.
Seeing no one, I'll close the public portion. At this point, if we can have first off, before we close the meeting, anything on the docket for next month at this point?
No, nothing yet.
Okay. Keep us informed.
I will.
Very good. All right. With that, I'll ask for a motion to close this evening's meeting.
So move.
Thank you, Mr.
Second.
Second.
Lindsay.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
All right. Good night, everyone.
All right. Have a great
Good night.
evening. Thank you
We'll
all.
see you all soon.
Okay.
Good
Take care.
work. Thank you.
Take care.
Good night.
Thanks, man.
Good night.